Hello, Universe Watchers and all those who happen to watch. Another fun-filled episode of Worth Your Universe. I wanted to try this up a little bit more differently. So, okay, today we're reviewing Kane and Lynch 2, Dog Days. Now, this game has quite a short storyline and not a lot to go over for this game due to the fact that I really wanted to cover the multiplayer aspects. I think that was actually a good part of this game. But beforehand, let's go into the storyline. You're playing as two protagonist crime smugglers, being Kane and Lynch. But in this case, you're playing mainly as a role as Lynch, which is some psychopathic guy that needs his medication by now. And you'll probably notice that in his dialogue and everything else throughout the game. Now, this game is not flawless. This game is not perfect. It's not even something we consider Game of the Year. So let's go into, again, you're trying to get some guns smuggled out of China. Now the problem though is something goes wrong during the storyline. So you're stuck going out and fighting the cops, other gang members, and, you know, just the military at some point, and it's just all this stuff piled up against you and Kane, which is your buddy with the one eye. And you gotta basically go out and get the job done. I'm trying as best I can to keep the storyline under wraps, so if you guys do decide to find this at a very cheap price, just play it for single player. You're not going to find it multiplayer online anywhere, because the multiplayer does not work in this. So again, that's one of the, I thought it was one of the saving things for this game was the multiplayer, but sadly it did not work on the PC version. I mean, it's operational, it's fully there, but no one's online at all. No one. I found one guy, but he wasn't having it with me. He was just like, this guy, I'm gonna go play some Gears of War. You know, he was just like that. So overall, I thought the gameplay mechanics and the controls are actually kind of smooth. Now this game handles just like Gears of War and third-person shooters, just like Resident Evil 4. It has quite a compelling control system, which half the time breaks on you. Now, kidding aside, the game actually has decent controls. I tested it with both the keyboard and mouse as well as the Xbox 360 USB controller. Both worked well. They weren't that best at times because sometimes if you're hooked against a wall, you go slingshotting off of it before you even realize it and you almost get killed. But sometimes it's always during situations where it was never always heavily, you know, bullets flying at me at once, so I was like, you know, wiping the sweat off my pudgy head. But overall, I thought the AI in the game was kind of retarded. Now, I'm not trying to use the word in a bad tense. It's just the character's AI was acting incredibly stupid, where they would not even respond to you firing at them, even if you're standing point blank right in range of them. Now, I thought that was kind of weird at first, so I was like, screw it, whatever, and just had fun shooting them, because that's what the point of the game is, shooting and get to the next objective. So, overall, this game got kind of linear after a while as well. There's some points where you would get through a certain little gauntlet where you have to fight and take out specific enemies and locations and cover areas, and it just gets redundant after a while. Now, I'm into that type of gameplay where, you know, you just taking cover and shooting things. Lately I've just been into that type of gameplay, so it just was kind of more appealing to me, and I think, than most anything else. I didn't think it was the best game in the world. I think the gun controls are actually not that bad at all. The guns actually handled pretty well. The guns were, for some of those critics who like the guns loud, the guns were quite loud in this game, so they were actually handleable and enjoyable. All the guns served a purpose. I thought the handguns were kind of useless at some points, but they were good for nonetheless if you have nothing else to use. I mean the gunplay was not that bad. The AI could have been done a lot better. The multiplayer is non-existent, so I can't even give that any credibility right now. And overall, I thought the storyline was alright. That's the only reason why I was kept on playing, honestly. I mean, after a while, I felt the game was getting redundant, but I still enjoyed it because the storyline was actually amusing at some aspects. Now, I'm not going to ruin anything at all for you because there's certain parts that I thought were hysterical. I'm just going to say a bus station area, and that's all I'm going to say. And if you guys do play this or do have any collection, haven't played it yet, you'll find out when you get to that point and you'll laugh your ass off. I'll just say as well, it was rain and buses. You'll know what I'm talking about. And I just had some dark humor out of that. I started laughing like crazy. But if you already played the game, you know what I'm talking about. You probably share the laugh with me now, I guess. But I don't know. So, is this game worth your universe? Well, seeing this is with a PC, I would recommend getting it for the consoles and taking your chances. If you can find it cheap enough, or you can find it from a friend that just doesn't want the game anymore, then I think it's worth a playthrough at least. If you can find it through one of those rental services, I think it's definitely worth a rent as well, majorly over buying the game complete priced. If you can find the game as cheap as I did at 13 bucks, it's a steal because the game is not that horrible. I had the fortunate chance to basically play this through, and again, I didn't think it was a bad game. I didn't think it was totally everything that wrong as everyone else would put it. And I judged it based off what I was preference to playing and enjoying in a game, and I thought the game was not broken overall. There's a couple of parts where it did crash just because the game was just overwhelmed, I guess, by everything on the screen at once. It was during a helicopter situation, but that was about the only time I experienced this problem, and it didn't break the game because I was able to load right back into that same area and it went through fine. I mean, every game I played just about had that same scenario where it just glitches on me. But again, that was only once. So, again, it's definitely worth a rent and definitely worth a cheap purchase if you can find it on the consoles. So, overall, tell me guys what you thought of the game when you first played it, as well as what did you enjoy about the game overall, if you did play it. Now, if you guys disliked the game, please feel free to share what you disliked about the game too, down below. Well, alright, hope you guys enjoyed this version of Worth Your Universe. I'll be more than happy to put up more footage soon. Take care, everybody.